My name is Guy Douglas. I run corporate communications for Embraer in the EMEA region. We're now 1 year on from last year's conference in Athens, and we find ourselves in Edinburgh, which is known as the Athens of the North, apparently. And it's been a really great year for Embraer. In Athens last October, we announced to you that the E2 would enter into revenue service on April the 24th. We kind of had to announce it to you because Widerøe were already selling tickets for the flight. So it wasn't exactly a strategic decision. Some of you in this room were able to join us for that flight, which was fantastic, and the date of that flight was April the 24th. So as usual, Embraer is sticking to its promises and its plans of being on time, on budget, and on spec, or even better than spec. So today we're going to take you through what's been a really special year for Embraer, and one that we've all been proud to be a part of. My colleagues Martyn and Arjan will be talking to you this morning, and after that we'll take your questions. But first of all, let me introduce you to the shark.
Now, I hope you can hear me through the speakers. Does it work? Yes, I think so. Pretty scary, isn't it? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. And Guy, thanks for the introduction. My name is Arjan Meijer, Chief Commercial Officer for Embraer Commercial Aviation. Let me just say a few words about the shark. I don't know if everyone's aware about why we did the shark. But of course, we brought the E2 to the market, and we start to call it the Profit Hunter because of its exceptional economic performance. We did that at the Paris Air Show last year with the Eagle. Of course, when we think about planes, we think about the air. We took a Hunter from the air, which was the Eagle. Going further on that story, going to Singapore, we thought it would be nice to come up with the Profit Hunter again. So we brought the Tiger, which is more an animal related to that area. So that was taken very positive by our customers and by the media as well. So of course, going from the sea to the land, the next logical step when we went to Farnborough was, there we go, that's my name. The next logical step when we went to Farnborough was to go from the sea to the land, from the air to the land into the sea. So that's why we picked the shark. And of course, we didn't pick the shark just because it was a fish, but the reason why we picked the shark is because A, it's a beautiful animal. It's probably the most evolved animal over time. It's a prehistoric animal developed into the perfect shape, the perfect hunter in its territory. And it's got an exceptional way of communicating with its environment. So those are just some elements of the shark which we kind of liked and which are very nice symbols to compare to the E2. So that's where the shark came from. So I think we get very good feedback, and it's good to start with that short video. So 2018 for Embraer is a very good year so far, and Martyn will tell you more about in a minute what that means for the region. From a global perspective, I'm really happy with of course the certification of the plane, the first operator here in Europe. But also important on a global level is that we were able to bring the E2 now on a global tour. So on July 9th, we took the plane on a first visit to Mexico, to one of our customers there, in Mexico. And from there, the plane went straight to Farnborough to show the shark to the wider public here in London. And following that, we went to Africa, we went to the US. From there, we went to Europe, And from Europe now, the tour is done, so the team has done an amazing job bringing the plane everywhere. It sounds easy to bring a plane around, but believe me that the team has been incredibly busy with all those customers, with all the visits to arrange everything. Very successful tour. And after this, it will move on to Asia, where it's flying at the moment, and then from there it will go to China. So it's a very busy half year, and we're able to show the plane to all our potential future customers. Talking about Europe, a very successful tour, I might say. We did 22 countries in the EMEA region, which is an incredible number to do all those visits in one row. 27 demo flights or static displays at many destinations, many locations. We did a demo flight. Some we kept it with a static display. We had more than 1,000 guests from 34 airlines in the region, and I think very good to mention is that we're doing this with one of our demo planes. We've been telling everyone it's a very reliable plane, but certainly for the demo tour that we did, the 100% aircraft reliability during the tour is something I should mention at this stage. So we're really proud on having this tour finalized for the region, but keep in mind that the tour is still going on a global level, so keep your eyes open for news from Asia and China in that respect. So what I would like to do next is give the floor to Martyn Holmes, who's responsible for the region. So I think it's not more than logical for Martyn to take the lead in all the stuff we've done here. But in short, we'll talk about a continued leadership in the 150-seat segment. We'll talk about all the good things that happened to the E2 during this year, the announcements we did at Farnborough, and of course where we are on the announcements on the customers here in the region. So without further ado, let me give the mic to Martyn, and he will continue.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm going to keep myself anchored here, not walk around like I normally do. I'm trying my best. So, of course, we were here in Scotland earlier this year. This is my Scottish wife, always trying to get a Scottish reference in every presentation. So, it was on the way, Aberdeen, on the way to the first aircraft into Norway. And the skies opened with beautiful sunshine, so it was wonderful to catch that one day a year. That was fantastic. So, but let's have a look through the year. And I think we can start off with just putting that into context. We're going to be talking about an aircraft and how really this last year has been a fabulous year. You know, you're going from an aircraft that was in development, then we were looking to certify it, then we put it into service, and look to secure more orders. So let's see how we went through that. And in the context of that, this is one of the most keenly anticipated aircraft entries into service. The aircraft itself is born from all this E-Jet experience, 70 airlines, 50 countries, over 1,400 aircraft in service. This is a phenomenally successful aircraft program. And we took 20 million flight hours of experience globally, from the hottest, the coldest, a complete diverse and eclectic group of airlines that meant that we are able to put into this E2 aircraft huge amounts of experience, unparalleled in our sector, and put that into an aircraft that would be the quietest, cleanest, most fuel-efficient single-aisle aircraft in the market. So our customers were forever grateful for their input into this aircraft. So as part of this success is really down to them as well. So we're number one in the sector, and we intend to maintain that and grow that. And this is the sub-150-seat aircraft sector. And you look about the E2 family, we're going up to 150 seats. 146 on the 195 E2. You've got the 175 E2, the 190 E2, the 195 E2. This is the only family of aircraft that stretches that spectrum. So, but let's get on to how did we get through that year. So we had an aircraft in development, certification. Guy was talking there about being on time. Now just ask yourself, how many new aircraft programs have delivered on time? Better than that, on budget. And then, let's have a look, did it beat spec? And we're not talking about a re-engine aircraft. We're talking about a new aircraft here. You know, we're talking over 17% fuel burn improvement, okay? Now the engine delivers circa, say, 11%. So this is the new wing. We've got fourth generation fly-by-wire, aerodynamics, avionics. This aircraft is phenomenally exciting. It was wonderful, Arjan talked about the E2 demo, to be able to get that out there and show people. It was exhausting, 6 days a week, travelling, never saw the family, but the customer response really blew us away, and I think it blew them away. And you can see the interior, and anybody who hasn't had the opportunity to be on the aircraft, it is phenomenal. And this day, I think it was the 28th of Feb, was it about the 28th of February? I'm fortunate to be there myself. Triple certification, ANAC, FAA and EASA on the same day. Hasn't been done before on this aircraft this type. That's because we know what we're doing. We have certified almost virtually one aircraft a year for the last sort of 12 odd years, 12, 14 years, right? So our guys are match fit on how they put aircraft into the service, how they certify aircraft, how they meet expectations. So they've worked in defence, they've worked in executive aviation and commercial aviation. This is what we do well. So how do we meet on the targets? We exceeded the targets we set. Very important. Noise, we exceeded the targets we met. Lower noise. Fuel burn, we bettered our 16% target and got 17%. Maintenance and landing gear intervals, we exceeded our targets. So that's why we're driving really class-leading economics on this aircraft. And on training, less than 3 days now training, 2.5 days training to transition an E1 pilot onto an E2 with a low-level device, not even a full flight simulator. Offers our customers huge flexibility and cost savings. So not only were we on time, not only were we on budget, we actually exceeded spec. So that's great. Let's go into service. So with that, we went into service with Widerøe. And Widerøe, being in Norway, extremely interested in how was the environmental signature of this aircraft. What is it? Well, we're pleased to say that this is the quietest and the cleanest single-aisle aircraft family out there. You've got double-digit reductions in CO2, and it is the quietest aircraft certified to stage 4 with 20 ppm dB margin. Fact. So we went into service with Widerøe. As Guy suggested, absolutely on time. Selling the tickets well in advance. Went through Aberdeen. So how's that entry into service gone? So it's now, well, this is as of September 13th. This data always sort of lags a little bit behind, but so it'll be nearly over 2,000 hours now. But at that time, it was 1,900 flight hours, scheduled reliability of 98.5, and a completion rate of 99.5. Working with Widerøe has been a delight. They're a fantastic airline. The teamwork, the camaraderie, it's a fantastic airline. And we've got a lot of practice in putting airlines into service. You saw the map earlier, our global map. So we put a lot of airlines into service. We know what we're doing. We have the program management skills, we have the expertise, but it takes two to tango. And it's been really wonderful to work with Widerøe, and they've done an amazing job here. And yes, this is a new aircraft, new engine, new everything. So those 98.5s and 99.5s will improve. But that's amazing for the first, and it's exceeded expectations. So we talked about entry to service, we talked about delivering better than spec, and we talked about it on time. So orders. Farnborough, earlier this year, we announced 300 aircraft orders to a value of 15.3. Some of those were LOIs. So let's move on from LOIs into whether we firm those aircraft orders up. So the first one, which we announced, was it a week or 2 weeks ago? Time flies at the moment.
Week and a half ago.
Week and a half ago, was it? So we actually announced when we were down in Zurich that we had firmed up and got the purchase agreement signed for 12 firm, 12 purchase right, 24 aircraft with Helvetic. So we're very pleased to see Helvetic firm that up, and we'll be going into service next year. And we're delighted Helvetic, a current customer of ours, moving from the current generation aircraft into the E2. So that's fantastic. And that leads us on to this, which is we announced at Farnborough that we would have a Spanish airline as an LOI. We can tell you today that that has been firmed up into a purchase agreement. I'm itching to tell you who the airline is, but we're just holding on for it for the time being, just because people keep guessing who is it? Is it this airline or that airline? And I'm enjoying myself. So we will announce at some point who this airline is. But at the moment, it's pleased to say that this is a firmed up purchase agreement with this Spanish airline for essentially 5. 3 firm and 2 purchase rights. So back to where we are on the timeline. 190E2, delivered on time. 195E2, will be delivering on time next year, and the 175E2 in 2021. And as we go into the latter part of this year, we'll have Air Astana and Fugio Airlines going into service with the E2, and next year with the 195, it will be Azul as the launch customer. So it's another exciting 12 months ahead of us. So what do we mean in summary? So we maintain our leadership in the 150 seat segment, below 150 seats. We certified the triple certification on time, so on budget, on schedule, and better than spec. And then entry into service on time, and it's been a solid, robust entry into service. We had a very good Farnborough, and we're really converting those LOIs we talked about earlier this year into firm orders. So I'm delighted, we've never been busier. It's a fantastic environment at the moment. We come off the back of this E2 demo, which was a hugely positive experience for all involved. So we're excited about what we've achieved, but we're even more excited about what the next 12 months has before us. So I think that leads us through to the summary of what we did today, and then Guy, we should have some questions now.
Yes. Do you want to take a seat, or do you want one?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
Okay. So just to be absolutely clear, the thing that you had not heard before today was the firming up of those 5 undisclosed aircraft. Okay, so that was the news. All right.